the index to know who is really on the path of haqq amongst the Muslims. Because the Gulamists, they are popularly referred to as Ahmadiyya, they are also going to say they are from the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. The Khawarij are going to say they are from Ahlus Sunnah. The Shia, they are going to say they are Ahlus Sunnah. There is no Muslim that will say he is not Ahlus Sunnah. Because every person attributes the Sunnah to himself. Every person attributes the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam to himself. But when the Shia, for example, will say that the companions are kuffar, meaning that the followers of people like Abdullah ibn Sabah are better than the followers of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then there is an indication that they themselves are better than the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If it is possible that they are more capable to graduate better people than the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will graduate, then it would mean that they are better teachers than the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A'udhu billah. This is the implication of what they say. So if they say all the companions of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were kuffar, but their own companions are from the best of people and they praise them and mention good of them and all these, it means that what they are saying is that they are better graduates of students than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it is clear that that is batil. So one of the major things that makes Sunnah, if someone says is from the people of Sunnah, to be known is where is he with the companions in terms of his beliefs, where is he with the companions in terms of obeying them radiyallahu anhum. So obeying the companions is the hadd al-fasil, to know who is actually from amongst the people of Sunnah and who is actually from amongst the people of Bid'ah and innovation. That was why it became an item of Aqidah. That is why it became, don't forget that Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, before he started listing these points, he had told us that he wants to tell us some things regarding which we must believe, every Muslim from amongst the people of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. He said if we believe all of them and leave one or two of them or any one of them, we have not actually believed in all of them. So how is it not true that someone will say that he believes in the Quran and he does not believe in the sanctity, in the honor of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Is it possible? How did you get the Quran? How did you get the Quran? The companions gave us the Quran. So that's why Al-Imam al-Nasai alayhi rahmatullah, he wrote a book on Fadailu Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan radiyallahu anhu, Imam al-Nasai. So when he went to Baghdad, because at the time there were a lot of Shia there, so he wrote the book that perhaps people would know the value of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. So when he wrote this book, people thought that he is supporting some groups of Muslims against some group of Muslims. So they had him beaten seriously. Imam al-Nasai, Abu Abdurrahman alayhi rahmatullah. So they beat him seriously. Who wrote Sunan al-Nasai? He's from among the greatest scholars of Islam. Al-Imam al-Darqutni mentions him to be more learned than Imam Muslim ibn al-Hajjaj, who wrote Sahih Muslim. So he was a very learned person alayhi rahmatullah. So they had him beaten seriously, and sometimes he went into a state of coma. So they asked him, why did you write on the virtues of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan? You know, some of the people have this very bad opinion that Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan is not from the Khulafa or Rashida, that they do not consider him as an eminent companion of the Prophet to follow. But he was an eminent companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan was from amongst the people who used to write the Quran for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was from amongst the he is a katibul wahyi for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is a writer of revelation for the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his sister was a wife to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and amongst so many other things. And Abu Sufyan, his father, also died as a companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he had many fadail that no one can deny. So the Imam compiled these things and they had him beaten. So when they were now asking him that it appears that you are supporting some group of companions against some other group of companions, so he said to them that the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are like the door to the house of Islam, and that no one knocks at the door except that he intends the house. He said the companions are like the door to Islam, When you knock the door, you intend the house. What he's saying is that the companions, they are the bringers of the guidance of Islam. When you attack them, you are not attacking them, the person is attacking Islam. And that's the same thing Imam Abu Zura said, rahimahullah, that what they intend is yuriduna is an yasqutu shuhudana. What they want is they want to bring down our witnesses. Who were those who witnessed the revelation that the Quran came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The companions. So once the companions are unacceptable people, then the message is unacceptable, because they are the original receptors of the message. So it became an item of Aqidah that as Muslims we must believe that these companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are eminent people, and they are to carry the message along from generation to generation. And that was why immediately the Prophet died sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they spread to all parts of the world. Some of them came to Africa, some of them came to even Nigeria. Yes, it's been written that some of the companions came. Uqba ibn Amir al-Juhani was reported to have come into Nigeria. In fact, he went far down as Kuwara. There's a research work someone wrote from the University of Sokoto, Risalatul Jaliyah في مكانة الدولة في مكانة الإسلام في دولة Sokoto قبل كيانة دولة العثمانية. That how was Islam in Nigeria before the emergence of the Dawah of Sheikh Usman bin Fudi alayhi rahmatullah. So in that article, the Sheikh was writing that the companion got as far as Kwara, and that before he came there, he had gone far into West Africa around the Gambia, and that when he could find no land, he was saying that, oh Allah, bear me witness that if I had known that there is a land after this sea, I would have gone into this sea, but I'm not thinking that there is a land here. So he came back. It was on his journey back that he came into this part. And some of the people have attributed that the Fulani tribe are from the grandchildren of this companion, Uqba ibn Amir al-Juhani, because he married from amongst the blacks that he met, and from there they had a combination of the tribes of black people and who were married into Arab tribes. In fact, some of the people said he even established communities around Mauritania, and that's why if you go to Mauritania, you find a lot of people who are actually looking like Arabs, but they are not Arabs in the original sense of the word. They were migrants who mixed up with the people. Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah. So these companions, that was how they moved to different parts of the world with this message they had received from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in fact, before that, they had established the city of Qayrawan in Tunisia. The city still exists today. It was established by the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the history is still clear about how they established the city. When they came into Africa, they said it was reported that the Barabara, which was the dominant tribe in Africa at the time, they were so resistant to da'wah that if you teach them anything about Islam today, you leave them and go. Before you come back, they go back to idol worship. If you teach them anything today, you leave them and go. Before you come back, they had established something else. So the companions thought that what they should do is to establish a city, not just to do the dawah and go and come back. They should establish a city there, and that was how they established the city of Qayrawan. And that when they established the city, it is in this article that we are talking about, that when they established the city, some wild animals were coming. You know, it was a bare land. Some wild animals were coming and they were disturbing them. It was said that there were about 21 companions and some tabi'un amongst them at the time, led by Uqba ibn Amir al-Juhani radiyallahu anhu. And that he called the people out one day and said that they should make dua regarding these very dangerous animals. And he said, look, he announced to these animals that, look, we are from the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyone amongst you that comes out, and we want this place as a city to spread the message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anyone from amongst you that we see from onwards, we are going to have to deal with you people. Leave this place for us now. The ulama say it's also in Mujamul Buldan of Al-Imam Al-Yaqut Al-Humawi. He also mentioned this qissa, that these animals began to walk out of the city. That for about 20 to 30 years, no single snake was seen in the city of Qayrawan after that incident. So this was how they did. They moved out. So if once you say these people are kuffar, then there's a big question mark on the dawah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are so many of them like that had incidences like this. So many of them. Safina, Abu Abdurrahman. Safina was the companion of the Prophet who was named the sheep. It was said that he was named Safina because that when they go on a journey with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when people have load, you know, when you travel over a long distance with loads on you, the loads become a body. So people begin to throw away their loads. People begin to throw away their load. Safina was coming from behind. He will be picking the loads and adding it. He will be packing the loads of the people who were tired of carrying their own loads. So when they got to a resting place, he will say, you at so place, you throw this, take it. He will give you. You at so place, you throw this so thing, take your own. You at so place, you throw away so thing, take your own. So the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wa ma anta illa safina. What are you if not a sheep? So the Prophet called him a sheep. So he said from that day, even if he carried Mount Uhud on his head, he does not feel the weight of it. He does not feel the weight. You know, sheep do not, that they do not feel weight because of the issue of upthrust in the sea. So the more weight you put, the more the appropriate volume of water that they displace go. So they do not so they do not feel the weight. Whatever you put in the sheep, they do not feel the weight. He said, if I carry Mount Uhud on my head, I will not feel that I'm carrying anything, because the Prophet called me Safina. So this companion Safina, he said that once he was on Da'wah and that he came to a bare land. He does not know the way out of the land. He came to a bare land. He does not know how am I going to get out of this land that I have gotten into. And that as he was praying that Allah guides him on his way out of the land, he said a lion appeared to him. And he said, I said to him, Al-Imam Ibn Kathir reported this case. He said, I said to that lion, Ana Safina to Mawla Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I am Safina, the freed slave of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What I want from you is my way out of this place. He said the lion shook its tail and moved. He said, and I followed it until I got my way out of the place. Safina, the Mawla of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some of the ulama said that he was actually a freed slave of Salama radiallahu anha. Some said no, Salama had given him to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it was said regarding him that the day he was freed, it was said to him that you are now free, go. He said, no, I can't go. When I'm living inside the household of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you now say I'm now a free slave, I should go. No, even when I'm free, I will still stay here until the Prophet dies sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he was in that house until the Prophet died. So if you say all these people, once people believe that these people are kuffar, you have destroyed the message of Islam. And that's why Imam Nasai said, anyone who knocks at the door, that the companions were like the door to the house of Islam. Anyone who knocks at the door actually intends the house. He intends to go into the house. So when someone hits at the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he actually intends Islam. And by the time you begin to study and look at the comments and the statements of such persons, you see they are already destroying the deen that they have. So it became an item of Aqidah that the companions must be accepted and believed to be the people of belief and honor and excellence and virtue, as Allah and the Prophet ﷺ had mentioned these people. Radiyallahu anhu.